Welcome back to Cigar Time, your ever so friendly show all about premium cigars. Welcome back, everybody.
Thanks for having us back.
Ever so friendly.
Good to be here.
You're back from Vegas a few weeks ago, and you saw the sights and destroyed the casinos, I understand.
Oh, yeah. $5, yo.
$5.
He won $5.
That was only slightly shy of what Rob won.
I didn't win anything.
Right.
Well, that's what I said.
Well, you didn't have to pay taxes on your nothing.
I didn't have to, yeah, it's true. You had to pay taxes on your $5.
Wait a minute, this is America. He probably did have to pay taxes on his
No
nothing.
doubt, no doubt. We're very pleased to have with us the National Sales Manager of Rocky Patel Cigars, Max Bichler, who you may recognize from his starring stint on the very fabulous TV show, which I've never seen, Amazing Race, right?
That's
Amazing
right.
Race.
Yeah, that's you got it. For a guy that never saw it, that's pretty good.
And you came in.
Second place.
Well, I was trying to think of a nicer way to say it. He came in right behind
won the silver medal.
The winner.
First loser.
First loser. No, I think that's the vice president. Oh, no, never mind. No, I don't want to get political.
No, it's the American people.
American people. Today we're going to be smoking some new products coming down the road from Rocky. Might as well light up.
Oh, thank God.
Sure. Yeah, I knew you were going to have a faint down there. And,
Did you tell our viewing audience who Max was besides the Amazing
National
Race?
Sales Manager, Rocky Patel Cigars.
Oh, I was asleep that part.
Yeah, you were sleeping, I think.
Much like you are every day.
Everybody's off to a good start. They all took the ribbon off the foot. So
Yeah. Now I got to take the band off the
guys
cigar. I mean,
Max, we're professionals here.
I can see that everyone very professional,
Yeah.
man.
Everybody's open.
do not attempt to do
Thank
this
you.
at home. We are trained professionals.
Everybody's lighting the right end.
Lighting
Unlike
the right
Art
end
lit
is
a
a
couple
plus.
weeks ago.
Putting the unlit end in your mouth is a good idea.
Yeah.
No, it is not.
Well, once in 8 years isn't bad, considering my age and everything else. I mean, have mercy on an old guy.
The first test. How much did we put? Too much glue on this one? No, good.
I love people. This drives me insane. And I'm not going to name who does it. I'm not going to name the company because they're very good friends of ours, and I've known the owner for 25 years. But they put a footband on, and they put it on with tape. And it is impossible, no matter how you do it, to get the footband off without literally destroying the foot that it's supposed to protect.
That's the bad end of the cigar. It doesn't matter.
It's the first thing in life, so what's the
Yeah,
difference?
I know. Maybe I'm being too picky. I don't know.
Construction on this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And this band that you're looking at is still prototype. We're actually
yeah?
printing the actual bands in Holland now.
That's a good place to do it, too.
Yeah, they're the only, for whatever reason, they've just got it down when it comes to that embossed and gold foil printing. And so the actual bands we're printing now in Holland.
This is an expensive prototype band.
It is, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that.
It's not like other prototypes that we've seen
Right,
that
exactly.
were really half-baked.
Well,
Or
if
the
you
final
remember,
product on some half-baked ones.
you guys remember a lot of the times you'd see our prototypes at the show,
Right.
and it would just
Right.
be a computer-generated band that said Rocky Patel white label.
Yeah, something.
Right.
Yeah.
There
Right.
was really nothing
I
to
like
it.
that. I feel like I'm smoking something special. See, nobody else can get this.
I know. I'm not exactly sure why we produced this one. Maybe it was like just a short run, just so we could make sure that it had the concept and people could see the concept before actually delivering. But the final product, this cigar is the final product, but the band
Is not.
What's the blend on this?
So this is something very special because we actually used Connecticut. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
Connecticut
Get that.
shade,
Yeah, where did you
Connecticut. It's blindingly expensive.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's very expensive.
Unbelievable. The extra and the additional that you actually pay for Connecticut, because obviously, there's a lot of factors, right?
Yeah,
Where you're shipping the tobacco, growing the tobacco, the production cost, loss. So we're using Connecticut, and that's the start of the mild and creamy blend. And the reason we went with the Connecticut was we just couldn't replicate that creaminess that we
Right.
got from it with the Ecuadorian blend. And we use Ecuador Connecticut like on our Edge Connecticut and others, and we love it. It's great flavor, but the flavor we were looking for with this, we couldn't get without using
How,
the...
out of curiosity, how long did you have the tobacco? Is it, because from what I understand, nobody's growing Connecticut shade
There's a lot less of it.
anymore. It's mostly dedicated to broadleaf.
A lot of
So
broadleaf.
is this tobacco you've had for a while, or is there somebody actually up there growing Connecticut shade.
You can get shade, but this is a 7-year-old wrapper.
Okay, there you go.
So yeah, exactly. Production has mainly shipped it to broadleaf
Yeah.
Yeah.
in a big way. So it's become more expensive. It's harder to get the product, and there's new entrants that are buying broadleaf now. It's not just
Yeah.
premium cigars. So
Yeah.
that's kind of dried up the product a little. But the fillers in this cigar, we're kind of not really disclosing it, but there's a blend of some Nicaraguan stuff, some Honduran stuff, and we're pretty proud of the final product.
That's enough for us, huh? And you could have given me the region and everything else. Okay.
Yeah.
Max, give
Well,
us go ahead. Go
No,
ahead,
I
Paul.
was just going to say for Connecticut, this wrapper leaf is physically pretty hardy. You know,
Yeah.
they are
Yeah, usually
usually
it's
so fragile.
Fragile.
And
is
this
right,
has
yeah.
got a lot of elasticity to it, which
Yeah,
is
it
great.
does.
And that's even before I get to the flavor, which we'll talk about later.
Rocky was really picky on that, and we've started talking about doing a Connecticut, because we have a very successful Connecticut, which is our vintage 1999, and it's a very successful product. And we have literally been talking for years about doing something either as a line extension or something that went back to that Connecticut because that particular line was so successful. And the biggest obstacle was finding the wrapper, finding the actual product that we were going to use.
Which is the
And
most expensive part of the cigar, typically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
so that's really why this project took us so long to come out with, is because getting the physical tobacco was the challenge. And then, Rocky is not the type of guy that just puts out a cigar at a price point because that's where he believes the price. Like the price point is, indication of how much it's costing us
sure.
and how much the tobacco is rare, the rarity of the tobacco. So this will be a more expensive cigar than a lot of people are used to from Rocky Patel. It's going to come in the $19, $20, $21 range.
Yeah.
But it's really special, and it's a flavor that you don't get every day from just about anything.
Well, it doesn't. It to me, it doesn't seem like it's your regular or prototypical Connecticut wrapper, because it doesn't have that grassiness, almost like it doesn't, like everybody's. Well, it needs more age kind of thing, but it doesn't have that. It's
Got
a
very
nice
smooth
nutty
flavor.
taste.
It's
right off
creamy too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got creamy and nuts in it.
right off the
the
bat.
No grassiness at all.
No, not at all.
I
In
agree
fact,
with
there's
you.
even a little, I'm getting a little hint of an orange, like a sweet orange flavor, especially on the dry draw, but even after I lit it.
Absolutely, and it's you're right. Sometimes when I smoke Connecticut or Ecuador Connecticut, you get that almost Candela type
Yeah,
taste to
that's
it.
a great way of
Too much
describing it.
chlorophyll.
Yeah, exactly, and
Yeah.
it almost feels like flash fermented. And
Yeah,
I think
exactly,
that's
yeah.
probably where that comes through. So yeah, you can taste the fermentation on that is pure. It's very much in the right place.
Was it fermented? Is it triple fermented, double fermented, or just one, and then it's just the age is what smooths it out?
So, the double and triple fermentation, I think it can be a misleading term based on just how people actually, what their process is. I guess you'd consider it as like at least a double fermented, and then the age of the tobacco itself really lends to to that flavor profile that we're getting.
Paul, I really got that orange taste through the retro hell.
I get a very nutty taste out of it.
It was
Smooth and
I don't know if it was actual orange, but it was more of a citrusy taste through the retro hell. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it on the retro hell, but
I'm getting in the aftertaste more like on the finish.
Are you?
Like I hate saying orange peel because that's so cliche-ish, but
Peel
that's
nuts.
kind of what is bothering me.
Peel
I mean,
Orange peel
reminding
nuts.
me of.
Max, tell us about your background. How did you get in the cigar business?
So I actually
Besides
started.
being a star of a TV show.
I started as a young guy stealing cigars.
Most
out
of
of
us
my,
start out that way.
Yeah, that's typically it, right? Stealing cigars from my dad's humidor, and
Nice.
I would go out and smoke them. And I remember my dad saying to me, as he noticed his stash,
Stash going
Yeah.
down.
he said, you could smoke cigars with me. It's okay. And I said, well, I'm not sure what you're talking about. He goes, I'm just happy that it's cigars that you're smoking and not something else, so you
Right.
can enjoy them with me. And then I remember turning 16, and it was that time to like go get a job. And I didn't want to work at Sears Hardware, which was like, you know, the next option. So I went to the cigar shop, and they said, great, you're hired, but you got to be 18. That didn't work for me, so I ended up going out to the Indian Reservation, out where I grew up, and we were able to start out there at 16. So I started in cigars in retail when I was 16, and when I moved away to Boston for college, I thought it would be nice to have a little pocket money, so I went to work at the local cigar bar and worked there throughout my college career.
That's cool.
And that was kind of my intro to it. So when I tell people like, oh, I've been doing this for, 23 years, they're like, that's not possible. And I'm like, actually it is.
It is.
Yeah, it actually is.
Well, you started out as a young guy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wow. I didn't start really smoking cigars till I was like 38.
Really?
I've been smoking them since I'm 15.
I mean, I smoked cigars. Yes, I smoked them. I would smoke maybe 25 a year. I smoke 25 a week now.
Can you do 26?
like-
That way it would have been every other week. Make it
No,
even.
I would smoke like 25 a year. Mostly when I was playing golf and stuff like
Right.
that. After I played baseball, I would
you're
smoke one after a baseball game. That's it. But then, I got the job here, and it's 25. When I say a week, I mean Monday through Friday. That doesn't even count Saturday and Sunday.
That's right.
So
25 a week would not do it.
for you, that's
That's,
2 days.
that's about a day and a half.
That's 2
Yeah.
days for you.
2 days. Yeah.
He's,
My-
he,
my-
he,
my
he's
palate
like a
gets fried
chimney.
after
He
that.
just smokes and smokes and smokes.
We've got within the company we know like whose consumption from our sales guys and our reps, because we see their samples and we're like, I know he doesn't work that much, but he smokes a lot, so we can always kind of gauge how much a guy's.
All right, who smokes the most?
Ooh,
Rocky, Nish, or Nimish?
Nimish.
I was
I
yeah,
figured.
so yeah. Anyway,
He's watching a lot of sports.
It's Nimish. Nimish.
Yeah.
Nimish is the
Yes.
is the. I mean, listen, they all smoke a lot of cigars, but I would say Nimish
The
is
top,
the,
I would have bet on that too.
the consumption guy. Yeah.
I'm not shocked to hear
Yeah.
that.
First thing in the morning, Nimish walks into the office and he lights up a cigar.
He
And-
waits that long?
Oh yeah.
Wait, I want to hear your story.
Well, I started 5:30 with a cigar and walking my dog.
Technically 1:30 with your wine.
Well, that's a different cigar.
Yes, but that's still
That's the
starting day.
previous days.
No, it's
That's
not.
the way I
No.
It's
count
after
it.
midnight.
So I smoke, basically chain smoke all day. And then I go to bed at about 11 and I wake up at 1 to go out on my porch and have another cigar and either a glass of wine or a shot of bourbon and think deep thoughts in the quietness and then go right back to sleep.
Boy, life is good.
Sounds like a pretty good regimen.
Yeah.
I wish we
It's
had
worked
more
for me for
customers
40
that were on
years. Yeah.
that routine.
I took up a cause a bunch of years ago of smoking 2 at a time. Smoke like,
Really?
Connecticut and a Maduro. And, I mean,
Setting a good example.
I think that'd be great.
Setting a great example. We need
I
to,
guess you were ahead of the curve on barber pole.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, just smoke 2 different cigars, 2 different, colors and everything. Get that different taste and burn them up 2 at a time.
Well, it is. It's research and development. Right?
Exactly.
That's what I call every cigar I smoke is R&D. Whether it's competitor's brand, our brand, you need to know what's going on out there. So it's all R&D.
And you have to smoke enough to follow the cigar system of health,
Oh,
which is if you smoke enough cigars every day, your body becomes a hostile environment and no germ will have anything to do with you. And your wife probably won't either.
yeah.
And sometimes that's a good thing.
Well, sometimes.
That sounds dumb enough to be true.
Oh, it's true.
That
I
could
think
be.
there's some
I
truth to
haven't.
it.
When you've known me for what, 12, 13 years?
Oh,
longer than that.
Have I had a cold?
No.
Have I had a flu?
No.
No, but you did fall
No
off the ladder.
infectious
Yeah,
anything.
but you did fall off a ladder.
And,
I did fall off, but that had nothing to do with cigars.
Yeah, I've been smoking these things now for 59 years. I couldn't remember last time I had a cold, and I never had the flu. I got the first flu shot last September. I didn't want to do that.
This is my
I
flu
was
shot
kicking
right
and
here.
screaming to get that.
I love this concept of creating the hostile environment for the.
I think there might be a grain of truth to that. It's not as far-fetched as you might think. I
love
went.
the
I went
concept.
about 7 or 8 years ago. I realized I hadn't had a chest X-ray in forever, and I do smoke a lot of cigars. Not quite as much as friend Paul there, but quite a few. And I went and had it all done, and they told me your lungs are like a newborn.
I don't remember the last time you actually finished a cigar, though.
But I light a lot of them in a day.
You do light a lot.
I don't have usually the time or the inclination to keep relighting it because I always get the plug
That's
ones.
true. Yeah.
We get them so you don't have to get them.
That's right.
And I just, even though I don't typically smoke a whole cigar at a time, I still smoke a lot of them. And I just, touch Formica or whatever the hell this is made out of.
Define smoking a whole cigar, Rob.
Well, you smoke it down to maybe there's 2 inches left.
All right, okay. Fair. 'Cause some people
Oh,
smoke
no,
it down
yeah,
to here
no.
and
Yeah.
let it go.
So, yeah,
Put
the
a
cap.
toothpick or roach clip on it.
Forget that.
Some of them
Yeah.
do that
Somebody
way.
did that once as a promotion. With each box of cigars, there was a roach clip in the box, just to imply that it tasted
Yeah, that
so
good.
good.
You
you
could
would
smoke
need
it right down, to the
That's
nose.
actually a good idea.
I'm not a relighter. I don't care to relight that. I mean, like, I'll do it if I have to,
Yeah.
but for me, it really changes the taste.
A lot,
Yeah.
of, a lot of them don't take
It
the
does,
relight well.
yeah.
They don't
It's
take
very
the-
interesting, and I don't
Unless you
know.
purge.
You have to purge. That is 100% essential.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with
I
that.
remember the first time someone showed me years and years and years ago, like purge a cigar on the relight, and I was like, oh my goodness, it really did create
It
a
changes,
cleaner,
yeah,
fresher
yeah.
taste. And it, once, because I guess essentially you're extinguishing the cigar
Right,
out in
right.
itself, right? So I don't
Why-
know that this
Have-
would be.
On the topic of finishing a cigar, have you noticed in your time in factories that the workers that smoke never ever get close to finishing a cigar?
Nah.
The workers in cigar factories rarely even get to the halfway mark before they either move on to another cigar or just stop smoking and start working for a
Because they're
while.
not typically paying for them either.
I was just
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
say.
yeah.
I
But
was like,
when I had my factory, I demanded that if they lit a cigar, they finished it, because the idea that people would be making a cigar and have no idea what the back half tasted like made no sense to me at all.
Yeah.
Because a really good cigar gets complex and it is going to evolve over
The fun is in the back half.
The factories that I've been to, I don't remember ever seeing anybody smoking a cigar.
Oh, yeah, in Cuba they do all
Really?
the time.
I mean,
Oh,
I've been to
yeah.
the Rocky factory, and I don't remember seeing anybody on the floor smoking.
no.
They're all teetotalers.
No. It's definitely factory by factory.
Yeah.
Ours has become a pretty sterile environment when it comes
Yeah.
to, production, cleanliness. You'd be very surprised.
It's very clean.
Ours is.
Yeah.
When I bring people for the first time, and it's always so much fun for someone who's known cigars and been in tobacco but never been to the factory, to actually walk into the factory
Yeah.
and then see kind of where the magic happens,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
But it's a very clean environment, and then obviously in the past couple of years we had to make sure it was even cleaner than ever.
Sure.
Right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
it really was, and it is, and it continues to be. And I think that's kind of reflected in the type of quality you get from our stuff.
The days of dirt floors and chickens
Oh, yeah.
running around are gone.
That's not true. So
Well, I think
you say when you see those little things flying in the air, you say they're chicken feathers.
Chicken feathers.
I've seen that a lot lately.
Well,
not
it
on
depends
not
on
on
what you're
not
smoking.
on real premium cigars like Rocky Patel, but like on lesser cigars.
Yeah.
I've heard another explanation for the little black floaters.
What is that?
You've seen when we tie tobacco in what they call a hand.
Right hands,
A
yeah.
hands of tobacco. It's done with nylon.
Yep.
Right.
I've always heard the black floater being explained as it's just a little piece of the nylon that we do.
Oh, but you would taste that.
You would
Well, I
taste
guess you would taste the chicken feather.
Like a
too.
tiny,
part of the tobacco.
because
Yeah.
if you have a ribbon and you on a present
Right.
and just like a little string of it,
Right.
the edge gets caught. I've always heard that implied as part of the nylon from the hands.
Usually the nylon melts before it burns.
Yeah.
And you would see it or smell it way before it got to the floater part.
I just figured
Multiple
it was
schools of thought.
tobacco or thick smoke.
No, Paul always told me it was chicken
Chicken
feathers.
That's amazing. It very well could be.
Chicken feathers.
Fairly disgusting if you think about it.
What are you guys' thoughts as this cigar? is
Well, I was just going to
progressing?
say, it's a little late for our first impression, but let's do it anyway. We're having such a good time. Don't even bother looking. Don't even. But it's nice and round. It's held together really nice.
Very smooth, creamy, and again, I'll repeat, you don't get that. I like the way you described it, that candela or that grassy kind of flavor. And I do get, Paul mentioned a little bit of note of orange peel in the nuts.
Jeez.
that
Oh,
Art
good.
mentioned.
Somebody said nuts beside me. I thought I was. Rob?
I'm getting a little toasty, like toasted nuts, as opposed to just like regular, plain peanuts. But they're toasted.
Yep.
I get
Salted
that
or-
toasty taste.
Salted or plain?
Pistachio?
Not pistachio.
There you go. Macadamia.
And it's very creamy. I really enjoy the retrohale in this
Yeah.
cigar. It's really
Very
nice.
pleasant. Very pleasant.
So
Paul?
It's staying exactly, at least in the first half, exactly the way it was, which is a tiny bit sweet, very creamy, a hint of orange or citrus, and nuts. You're right, Art. Nuts are definitely there.
Yeah. To me, this taste and handles, draw-wise, everything else-wise, like a very expensive cigar, a very high-end premium cigar that you might have tasted years ago in another brand that comes in white boxes.
I was just thinking that
Yeah,
this is the way
tastes like the old
it tastes like
expensive
the way
Dav-
Davidoff used to
be.
taste.
Well, they still have good taste in their line, but they're big profile Connecticut cigars.
Right.
When they
It's
switched
the
to
way they used to,
Ecuadorian
right.
Connecticut, it was different. It changed the taste a bit. Oh, this is great on the retrohale. I mean, I've had the nut taste all along. It's very creamy. It draws wonderful. It burns wonderful. I mean, this is a super
Yeah.
premium cigar.
It's
Which
good to hear.
Rocky is not necessarily, that's not his face forward. Is super premium high-end cigars.
We've always made, the people's champion cigar, something in that great accessible price
Right,
point
right.
that is, fantastic. And people have begged us for a more expensive cigar, and Rocky's like, what do you want a more expensive cigar for? And people have asked, oh, we need this price or a super premium, and Rocky would never do it for the sake of making a more expensive
Right,
cigar, unless the ingredients
We're there.
made sense and
Right.
made that price point make sense, then we weren't going to do it. So it's not, you want a more expensive cigar, we'll start charging 16 for the edge instead of 8. But
Right,
it was
yeah.
never that. It
Yeah.
was always, if we can make a cigar that's worthy of that price point and cost us X
Yeah.
amount and it makes sense, then we'll do it. And that was kind of the thought behind the white label and making it and you guys are hitting on all the things that we had in mind
You went for
as
it,
we
yeah.
blended this cigar, which is so good to hear because we do this, but we're in a boardroom or a blending table and we think we've got it all figured out, but it's great to hear it from people who are the end consumer
Right.
and weren't and those behind the scenes discussions of what we were going for. So it's really awesome to hear from you guys that
That you got what you were going for.
it sounds like
It is what it is.
Sounds
I mean,
like we
it's-
got there.
It is, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it sounds like we
Did I hear you say before we started shooting that this was going to be a limited model?
No, it's going
Oh,
to be
okay.
a regular
Oh, it
production.
will be, okay.
Yes, it will be as long as we're able to continue to source the tobacco, and that's been increasingly more difficult
Yeah.
with the entrance, which is why we have some of our own farms now, and we've really progressed as a company when it comes to procuring our own tobacco, growing our own tobacco in some cases, and this is planned to be a regular production cigar. And it will we're probably looking at the end of October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the end of October.
It's funny. Rocky and us kind of started out at the same time, as did a number of other great manufacturers like Nick and Lido and others.
Absolutely.
And we've watched the evolution of many of these companies, and sadly we've watched the demise of some of them as well. And Rocky has stood the test of time, and we're very proud of our association with Rocky Patel. And this is above the board for him.
It's the number one asked for cigar. When people come in, where are your Rocky Patels?
Wow, that's that always is so great to hear because we've worked on that for a long time, and Rocky's put a lot into that for a long time. And obviously, we promote the brand and we market the brand and we market the cigars, and this way it's not just another product that sits on the shelves.
Right,
We want it to
right.
be something that people are walking in and asking
Sure.
for.
Yeah.
You know, and it's great to hear that. But someone once said to me, and I remember, you know, when I started with Rocky in 2004, we were not a household brand. You know, we were
Indian
by
tobacco,
2004, you were.
we were starting to become known, right?
You got beyond the gorillas and the baboons.
Yeah, come on,
Right.
those were great cigars.
Right.
I love those cigars.
They were good, and that price was right. Too.
TP and all them?
we were like on the verge, but I would say at that time you could have started a cigar store and not necessarily had Rocky Patel's a brand. You had to have them there. And
Yeah.
someone said to me the other day, they're like, as I think of brands I would have to have if I started a cigar store.
Oh, there are several, yeah.
Rocky's right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No
And
question about
I
it.
thought, wow, that's cool. And I you know, I'm sure Rocky loved to hear that
Yes.
and like to hear that because, you know, that's a lot of work for a lot of
Yeah.
years and you know, finally get into the place where it is, you know.
He is one of the hardest working guys in the industry.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. And we're going to cover that. Max is coming back next week. We're going to cover the legislative end of things next week.
Okay.
So let's go around the table and get our ratings on it. You
picking
can't
up a-
rate your own cigar.
Okay.
On the finish, I'm picking up a little, almost a slight mint flavor.
I haven't gotten that yet.
I
Like
don't know
the-
where
you know
that
the-
is. I don't know where that's coming from.
It's not like the you're chewing a mint leaf and you get that big
Yeah.
burst, but that after like 5 minutes after you've had it, you can still, it's almost like a nasal kind of flavor. Anyway, I mean it's smooth, it's very creamy. I'm going with a 9.25.
Ah, damn it! I hate agreeing with you, except for the mint part. I don't get any mint.
You're being on as far as I
The
know.
only thing I'm not getting is a Java
I'm even
taste.
further than you are.
No?
What? What did you say?
Oh, you smoked through
I
straight
said I'm
through
not,
it then.
I'm not getting any Java taste.
Yeah, I give it a 925 too. This is a fantastic cigar. It really is. I love how smooth it is. I love how creamy and toasty it is.
And the 925
just
for
got
me,
the
I'm
mint.
not a...
He's a
I
tough
just
grader.
got it.
Really?
Yeah.
Mint?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
After you exhale, after it's gone.
Yes, it's the finish.
It's a very clean finish, but there's this little flash of mint to it. Yep.
Little
You
hint
guys
of
are
mint.
nuts.
Wasn't that a Nat Sherman cigarette? Hint
Yes,
of
it
mint?
was.
Hint of
The
mint.
hint of
Yeah.
mint.
Well,
Well,
go for it.
you know, everybody likes to say that I don't like mild cigars, but I like this cigar tremendously. I think it's complex enough. I think it's a very relaxed smoke. I am super impressed with the construction quality of it, and I give it a 9.4.
9.4.
I don't think anybody's ever given a cigar a
I don't
9.4.
think so
Well,
either.
I can't really add a whole lot more to it, except where I sometimes penalize a cigar for the price in my ratings. I'm not penalizing this because it's well worth it. It's well worth it.
939.
I give it not a 939. I'll give it a 930. How's that?
930.
Do the math on that. We want to thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned to our Cigar Time outlet show. Save
Yeah.
a ton of money.
Hello.
And don't forget, smoke early, smoke often, and think of us when you're doing it.
Life's too
Bye
short.
bye
to
for
smoke
now.
cigars.
Ciao for now, everybody.
Bye-bye.